Hello everyone, this is Rafid from Eflyn. We are here with another episode of Tech Talks with our Chief Technical Officer, Dower. How's it going, Dower?
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, very nice to have you.
It's a long walk from my office right over there.
No, we appreciate your time. Dower is extremely busy, so we got to beg him for a few minutes for these little Tech Talks. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you taking the time out. Today, as you can see in our beautiful backdrop here, we're going to be talking about kiosks at colleges and universities, specifically wayfinding kiosks. Obviously, there's so many different things you can do with digital interactive kiosks, wayfinding, digital advertising, informational displays,
self-checkout.
Self-checkout, of course. So a whole host of different things you can do. But today, we wanted to sort of focus on the colleges and universities and how the kiosks can enhance campuses and really improve student life at the university. So I had a couple questions for you to get your insight on. What is, for universities that don't have kiosks at the moment, what do you think they're missing out on? And why do you think interactive digital kiosks are a necessity in today's world for universities and colleges?
Yeah, I mean, I think at a high level, there is definitely a kind of expectation from young adults and students and even general visitors, just because we live in 2025, we live in this age of apps and information and very supportive and assistive technologies. And so there's definitely an expectation whenever you go into an institution like a university or a college that they're going to be using or investing in the latest technology to facilitate the services that they provide, to provide support for students. And so there's definitely, at a high level, there's definitely an expectation that they would have some kind of supportive or assistive technology to help you navigate the facility, especially larger facilities like universities and colleges, just to meet the expectations that students have. I think it's very important to invest in that technology, even before all the great help and support that they can provide, which we're going to be discussing in a bit. So yeah, I think at a high level, there's definitely an expectation that, if I go into a university or a college, especially the larger the campus, the more likely I'm expecting to get some kind of help. And I mean, I don't want to have to always scan a QR code to get help. I don't want to always have to open up my phone and download an app or something like that to get help. I should just have it available as conveniently as possible. And that's either going to be going up to a reception and asking somebody for help, or more cost-effective and probably more useful to people would be to just give them the ability to service themselves using a digital wayfinding or information kiosk.
Absolutely, and having them sort of strategically placed across campus can be, ideal and super helpful.
Absolutely, at entrances to large buildings and different sites on a campus. Especially, we set up kiosks at the Toronto Metropolitan University a couple of years ago, and they are a huge campus. So they're in this kind of very downtown core in downtown Toronto. And the campus is spread across even the most busy intersection in Toronto. So you have Yonge and Dundas intersection, the most busy intersection in the country, and half the campus is on one side and half the campus is on the other side. And many campuses operate like that. And so you can imagine that just the complexity of that, obviously you need a kiosk at the different entrances and help students and visitors just guide themselves amongst a large campus like that. It would be definitely something that should be top of mind.
Absolutely. No, that sounds, that totally makes sense. But some people make the argument that, everyone has a smartphone nowadays. I can pretty much, view whatever I want on my smartphone. So since most students have smartphones, what is the added benefit of a kiosk? Why invest in kiosks at all?
It's a great question. It's a question we get all the time. And the answer to that is we actually also are fully, we love cell phone technology. We love mobile technology, smartphone technology. The majority of the apps and experiences that we build for kiosks come with a complementary experience for the phone. So for example, if you were to set up a wayfinding kiosk, we can always provide that same wayfinding functionality through a mobile phone, whether that's through a URL a QR code or or an app download. And so by no means are we saying that that's not something you need. It's absolutely something you need. It's absolutely something that should be very important. However, it can't take away from the fact that to have a display, a self-service display that you control, that's hardware that you own, that's software that you completely control as well, available at physical locations is still critically important, with or without a complementary mobile experience. And the reason for that is because, for one thing, it's much more convenient. We have mobile solutions, we have mobile wayfinding, but just getting somebody to scan a QR code or visit a URL or download an app, it's still some action that you're expecting the user to take before they're able to get help. Right. It's still something that's going to become either a nuisance, or people are going to be kind of busy. They're going to be kind of, especially on a campus where you're always late for class or you're late for some event that you're attending. And so to introduce any obstacle, whether that's having to scan a QR code, having to visit a URL, having to download an app, sign in, or something that's going to create an obstacle, it's going to create annoyance in your users. It's just a given. Like, I don't like scanning QR codes. QR codes are everywhere, and it's just annoying to do that. And same with URLs and things like that too. That there's still some kind of an obstacle there. Whereas with a kiosk, it's just as convenient as having somebody there who you can ask. You just go up to it and it's ready to help you. Like, you could just click a button, click one of the shortcuts on the app. As you know, our wayfinding system has the ability to add shortcuts to popular destinations, and those shortcuts can also change over time. Like, maybe during the morning, that there are certain rooms that you have that are more occupied for classes and things like that, and so we can put shortcuts for those rooms on the app, on the kiosk app. Versus maybe later in the day you want to put other shortcuts on there. And so we're reducing barriers, we're reducing friction, we're reducing annoyance, potential annoyance of users, just by having a display that you can instantly use. And so just from a convenience factor, regardless of whether you have a complementary mobile solution or not, having a physical display on premises ready to go is just such a huge convenience and value add for your visitors and students. And the other factor of it is just the branding potential. There's so much branding potential when you have a large display like that. Okay. You can brand it with graphics, you can have digital signage rotating on it. Obviously, the bigger screen makes for a much bigger impact than what you can get out of delivering ads to somebody's mobile phone. And you have full control of that interface. When you're developing apps or wayfinding or whatever for a mobile phone, the challenge with that is you typically have to support many different devices, many different screen sizes, many different versions of devices. It's kind of an endless, and we do it every day, so we know it's kind of an endless challenge and an ongoing challenge to make a software that you deliver through mobile devices be compatible, be fresh, be fully user-friendly. Whereas with a kiosk, it's your hardware, it stays exactly the same. The systems, the versions, the screen size, everything stays exactly the same. It's 100% consistent. And so you can get a 100% consistent experience out of it, which you could never accomplish by pushing software onto somebody's phone, either through a QR code or a URL or an app download. And so those two are just the top reasons. There's many other reasons, but just from a convenience factor, from a branding factor, and from a full experiential control factor, you never want to remove kiosks from the experience. You always want kiosks available, and then complementary mobile solutions to support the functions of those kiosks.
Absolutely. No, you make a solid case for digital kiosks. So now, if a university or college does not have kiosks, I mean, you mentioned a lot of points, but what would you say is the most important factor that they're missing out on? We've worked with a lot of colleges and universities already. We see the benefits of student engagement, wayfinding, of course, and just a general display of information, continuous stream of data that is available to students and visitors alike.
Yeah.
So what are the campuses that don't have digital kiosks? What is the main thing you think that they're missing out on that they absolutely need in today's digital world?
So they're missing out on a lot of value add for very minimal cost and very minimal like square footage. Campuses, even the smallest universities and colleges, have a lot of space in their facilities, a ton of space. And a kiosk, which takes up a very minimal amount of space, you're talking about maybe 3 to 4 square feet max per unit. Just with that little minimal space, you could get so much value and convenience for your visitors and users. It's almost like there's no reason not to do that, because if you can simply use that, like that space is not doing anything for you right now. And there's so much space available. By just taking a little bit of space, investing that in, like using that space for a kiosk, you can get wayfinding out of it, wayfinding support for your visitors and students. You could, of course, get all the branding potential that we've discussed. And of course, it adds to the value and reputation of your institution, because you want to be recognized as an institution that invests in technology, is at the forefront of technology, especially assistive and supportive technology like this, which we see immediate value as soon as we can see the numbers. We have the numbers, and if you set up the kiosk, you can also see the numbers yourself. We track analytics all the time. We can see as soon as we place the kiosk in a physical location, the day or the minute that we put them in place and kind of walk away and they're activated, they start being used.
Yeah.
Because people are just generally attracted to the kiosks, whether it's because they're running kind of some call to actions, or they're running digital signage, or they're running some kind of supportive function, or just out of curiosity. People will go up to the kiosk and start using it, and that's your opportunity to reinforce the fact that you're a brand or an institution that invests in technology, and especially assistive technology for your visitors. So for a very minimal, and of course they're not very expensive either. They're very low cost because it's technology, it's priced as technology, and so technology is generally known for the fact that for a very minimal investment, you can get a significant amount of value out of it. And so the same thing applies to kiosks. For a very minimal cost and very minimal amount of square footage, like 3 to 4 square feet, you can get a massive amount of value out of it in terms of branding, in terms of reputation, in terms of assistive technology. So there's really no reason not to at least try it. And you'll see, as soon as you put in one kiosk, you'll very quickly see the need to pull multiple kiosks across campuses, especially larger campuses.
Absolutely. That sounds great. And one more point I wanted to touch on is sort of the ease of use. So obviously with universities, they have teams that would be looking after these kiosks, managing the kiosks. We have a really robust kiosk management platform, eSuite, where you can sort of manage all the kiosks individually or make mass changes.
Yep.
Specifically for wayfinding, just talk us through the process a little bit of how we upload maps, how you can make changes, how staff are able to manage that themselves.
Absolutely. So, our kind of, I guess, philosophy when it comes to developing both kiosk hardware and software is self-service first. We really want people to be able to service themselves and help themselves using the technology that we provide. Both the users of the kiosks as well as the users of the systems that manage the kiosks. So for example, our backends aren't also designed to be fully self-service for the staff of the university to use. Like, our backend is designed to be as friendly to use as a kiosk is for your students to use. So you can log into our backend and everything that is changeable on the kiosks is accessible to you, whether that's maps, directions, listings, offices, things like that. Once we train you on how to use the system, you can very easily log in, and change maps around. You can change routes around. If, for example, and this kind of thing happens all the time, if we have like a multi-floor map, and we have the ability, for example, to have multi-floor maps where we can provide navigation via escalators or elevators to other maps, and then provide kind of final routing to the ultimate destination. So the way that works is, if, for example, I'm on floor 1 and I'm trying to get to somewhere on floor 3, I go on the kiosk, I click on office on floor 3, and it starts navigating me. So it first tells me to take the elevator escalators to floor 3, and then from there to take this route to get to the final destination. And so sometimes you may end up as a scenario where maybe the elevators are shut down for servicing, right? And so you don't want the elevator routes to show up on the kiosks anymore. And so you could just simply log into our system and just disable all the elevators. Nice. Or disable a couple of the elevators. And so now it's going to find the best way to get to that destination, but not using the elevators anymore. Right. Or for example, if we're doing external or outside wayfinding. And we're navigating you down a sidewalk, for example. Maybe you start on one side of the campus and you have to navigate to a building on the other side of campus. And maybe the sidewalk is undergoing construction. So you have to do a kind of a detour. So you have to actually change the way the system recognizes the actual path from point A to point B. You need to kind of change something in that or introduce an obstacle so it can know that, oh, I have to navigate around this obstacle.
And the system does that itself.
The system does that itself. Yeah. All you have to do is, again, just log into the back end and specify that there's an obstacle here, or kind of change the routes a little bit so it can navigate around the obstacle, and the system will automatically then redetermine what the best routes would be to navigate your users around. So you can make those changes, or let's say you have a tenant or an office, and maybe at the beginning of the year, we see this a lot, at the beginning of the year, staff change offices a lot. So, you might have a bunch of staff members changing to these offices or swapping offices, or you might have built new offices over the summer for new staff. So you have to reassign offices. You can do all of that yourself. You can always reach out to us. I mean, we have full support available, but you can easily do that yourself. You just log in, you can change the names of offices, change the unit numbers of offices, and again, the system will just redetermine how to navigate people around.
Awesome. That sounds fantastic. No, and we've seen it with the several colleges, universities that we work with already. It's a great system that they love to use, and we're very happy to be able to provide all these services to our clients. So yeah, that's all we have for this episode of Eflyn Tech Talks, the wayfinding at colleges, universities. Thank you so much, Dower.
Yeah,
really appreciate you giving us some time there. And yeah, if you have an inquiry regarding the wayfinding kiosks for your colleges, universities, we'd love to help you out. Definitely feel free to reach out to us at sales@eflyn.com or visit the website, and you can find us on there as well. So thank you very much. We'll see you on the next episode of Eflyn Tech Talks.
Wait, don't stop. I just wanted to shoot one thing. Why don't you just ask me a quick question about events calendars and stuff, and I'm just going to do a quick answer.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. It'd be like a lot of the time, people who use these technologies, I've noticed, are people who are coming onto campus because there's some event happening.
Yeah.
Is there some special way we can help those people, something like that?
Okay, cool. Awesome. So another question I had was, a lot of people, they come to campus for events. So obviously There's lots of different events on campus.
Oh yeah.
Is there any specific application or use case of the kiosk that can help those people, visitors who are coming in for the event specifically?
Yeah, actually, to be honest, a lot of the kiosks that we've set up for universities and colleges, the initiative to set those up came from student groups on campus, because they weren't even necessary to help students navigate to classrooms.
Right.
It was student groups who had so many events happening all the time on campus, and so many visitors coming to those events, whether they're students or not. Like, how do they get to the right room? Where is the right room? Because the event's got to start on time and they got to be there. And so many of the kiosks that we set up were initiated by student groups, and then, management was involved, and we finally got them on campus because they had so many events. And one of the coolest things about the kiosks is both the events calendar feature we have and the integration that we have with the wayfinding system. So we have on the events calendar side, the wayfinding kiosks, when they're not in use, they can double as digital signage, right, but they can also double as a rotating events calendar of what's going on throughout the day. And so if, for example, there's a number of events happening throughout the day, we could just simply show a nice list of those events happening. We could source those events from a number of different sources. We support a number of different systems that we can integrate with to poll events, whether that's like a simple Google Calendar or some kind of event management system that the university uses, or something totally custom. We can work with it, poll the events, display them on the kiosks, so when people are kind of coming onto campus, they can see right away that, oh, I'm here to do for this event, it's at this time, and this is where it is. And then we take it one step further, which is we integrate that event's calendar with the wayfinder. So if you're attending a specific event, the kiosk can show a little message that says, click here to get directions. And so you can click that note on the events calendar, and right away it'll link you to the wayfinding system and show you how to get the directions from where you are to the room where that event is being hosted. So that, number one, that integration with the events calendar is just such a huge convenience, because when the kiosk is not in use, it just rotates through what's happening that day. Right. But that integration with the wayfinding takes it to the next level, because people just find it a massive convenience when, as soon as they arrive on site, they're here for an event, they need to know how to get there, they don't have to scan a QR code to do it, they just click a little button, and right away it gives them directions, go around this corner, go up, take a right, and there you are, and that's where your event is going to be, and they can all get there right on time. So the student groups are happy, the facilities are happy, and yeah, it makes for a very convenient thing for everybody.
That's perfect. And not that we hate QR codes. I mean, we can have QR codes for mobile handoff too, which is a really useful use case also.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's just a no-brainer, I think, with the display just being there with all the information you need right on the spot. So that's fantastic.
Yep.